Hey guys, welcome back to 428 Shibuya Scramble. I almost said precinct again. This is TJ Gamer Girl signing on. So, last episode we finished up Minorikawa's block, or current block, and he basically got a request from Osawa to look into an old article that the magazine he's helping out wrote years ago about his marriage to Ai. Hopefully we'll find out exactly why he wants Minorikawa to look into that article. But right now, we're talking to Tanaka. What is it? Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osoa's ears. The tension was electric. Osoa felt a surge of outrage. He wanted to scream, but he took a deep breath and managed to maintain control. Tanaka, where are you? Is Maria alright? Tanaka did not reply. The police told me. They said you were connected to the kidnapping. A soft chuckle came from the other end of the line. Well, the police sure do know how to do their jobs. Tanaka's tone was unapologetic. He sounded nothing like the man Osoa thought he knew so well. Why would you do this? Money? Are you having money troubles? Money? Tanaka replied. I suppose that's part of it. Honestly, I doubt you'd understand. Do you have any idea what it's been like for me doing our research together? You're always the one who takes the center stage. The fruits of our success are all yours, even though you couldn't have done any of it without me. The more he said, the more vitriol seeped into his words. Also, his hand trembled as he clutched the phone. The taker can never understand how it feels to be taken from. You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. And with that, he hung up. Hey, Tanaka! Also, I dialed the number again, but Tanaka didn't pick up. Also, I racked his brain, thinking back on how Tanaka had been acting earlier that day. Had there been anything unusual? Any clue at all, no matter how small? If he could find some hint, maybe he'd be able to find Maria and Hitomi. That was it! I had been suspicious of Tanaka all along. So much that she'd planted a bug on him and hidden in a tight clip. Her suspicions might have been pretty strong. Wait. Also, I recalled what Kajiwara had said. But still, if she is that worried, giving a tight clip as a gift is a bit... The words had struck also odd when he first heard them. I had never given him a tight clip. His heart gave a heavy throb in his chest. It couldn't be. No, it was impossible. That article from 4-star General Gossip crept back into his mind. The article had talked about a man I had dated before she married Osoa. The man's identity was never revealed. Could it have been Tanaka? You've hoarded so many things to yourself, so I'm taking some of them back. Tanaka's cold words took on a new depth of meaning. Also, I felt the foundations of his life begin to crumble. Were Tanaka and I accomplices in all this? No. Wait. Just calm down. He couldn't let himself jump to conclusions. He needed to be more level-headed. Everything depended on it. If the two really were accomplices, why would I have planted a bug on Tanaka? What purpose would that serve? Alibi? What could it mean? It was no use. Also, I couldn't think of how that made sense. First things first, he needed to establish a relationship between I and Tanaka. What the relationship between Tanaka and I really was. Once he figured that out, he'd be able to get a better handle on the situation. Obviously, he couldn't just go and ask I directly. If she really were involved in all this, she certainly wouldn't tell him the truth. Also, I thought back to the business card he tossed in the trash. He didn't relish the thought of getting help from that scavenging hyena. But now was no time to be picky. If he wasn't able to leave the house, he needed someone else to do some investigating for him. The freelance writer, Minoru Minorikawa. He was Osoa's only hope. To be continued. Well, I guess we didn't know no, we do know the exact reason why. Okay, I have to start with Maria. I mean, a lot of people ended on a cliffhanger, but this one was such a good cliffhanger. Wait, hold on! Is my name Hitomi Osawa? At my shout, the man with the cane hesitates his finger on the trigger. What do you mean by that? The barrel of the gun still aimed squarely at my head. I mean exactly what I said. Is my name Hitomi Osawa? I don't know who I am. You're trying to play games with me. I'm not playing with anyone, I swear. I'm utterly desperate now. Getting killed is one thing, but who wants to die without even knowing who they are? Tell me, am I Hitomi Osawa or not? The man gives me a good hard look. Damn it, I wonder. Continues to study me along the barrel of the gun. Tell me what you know. Tell me what you know. It's an order, not a request. What I know about what? Look, I have amnesia! I quickly summarize what's happened to me since I woke up in that storehouse. The man listens intently, never taking his eyes off me. Ah, I see. So that's what's going on then. Once I'm done with my story, the man with the cane sits down on an empty soda crate. Seems he believes me at any rate. That's a relief, if nothing else. So then, am I Hitomi Osawa? No. Then who is Hitomi Osawa? Is she someone who looks like me? Shut your mouth, the man spits. Just be quiet. His expression is vacant. What am I going to do? He mutters to himself. If I'm not Hitomi Osawa, does that mean you don't have any business with me? Seems so. In that case, can I go? The assassin doesn't answer. He lets his pistol hang limp in his hand, the muzzle dropping to point at the ground. It doesn't look like he wants to kill me anymore, but it doesn't look like he'll just let me go quietly either. I remain motionless, waiting for an opportunity to run away. I need to do something about that gun he has. We need to wait. I may not make it in time. The man murmurs to himself under his breath. Not make it in time for what? I'm curious now, but this is hardly the time or place to try and find out more. I've learned for certain that I am not Hitomi Osawa, which basically tells me nothing. I'm right back to square one on figuring out who I am. The assassin has gone quiet, sitting on a pile of crates. He seems lost in thought. Still, I don't dare try to get away. All I can do is stand and wait and mull over my own situation. Just who am I? I ask myself again and again. I am... No, I have no business with you. The man finally says. Go. Don't worry, I won't follow you. I wonder if I can believe him. Maybe he's just trying to get me off my guard so he can shoot me in the back. Do not go to the police or go back home, he continues. Lay low by yourself somewhere for a while. How long is a while? Until around sundown. This show will be over by then. It'll all be over? I have no idea what it is, but I decide not to pry in case he decides to change his mind. Okay, I'm going to run away now. Sure. I take a slow step backward. I'm starting to turn away when he speaks up again. Before you go, I need to tell you one more thing. What's that? When you get your memories back, I'm sure you're going to hate me. And so I apologize in advance. Of course, I have no idea what he's talking about, but it makes me even more uneasy. I truly am sorry. I've got no response for that. so I just give the man one last look before I turn and run. I decide to look for some place to hide out for a while, as the gunman suggested. But since I don't really know my left from my right in this town, that's easier said than done. Before I realize it, I've made my way back to the knick-knack shop where I bought the necklace. Maybe I could hide out in here. As I contemplate the possibility, I hear an all too familiar voice. Tama! 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 Oh, hi, Yana. What? How do you get yourself into these situations? No, how did you get yourself into this situation? Because I know how you got into the other ones. How'd you... There's Mr. Yana on the floor of the shop. He's been tied up with some rope. What happened, boss? Look, this is all just... I was framed. Nah, whatever's happened, I'm pretty sure it was all his fault. Just calling a hunch. He says I'm a thief. Well, I say he's a thief for selling stuff he finds around town. Hey! The sales clerk steps into view, scowling. Just what are you implying? What in the world is going on here? I haven't the foggiest. Tama, help me! Please! Yana kicks and squirms like a hyperactive child. Do you know this man? The sales clerk asks. No? Well, I mean, sorta. It's real pain. He's been making this scene like this for as long as he's been here. I find it hard to imagine a worse way to interfere with someone's business. I hate to ask, the clerk continues, but could you take him to the police for me? The police? Yeah. Oh, well, the police... The gunman did specifically warn me not to go to them. I feel no loyalty to that killer, but I am reluctant to antagonize him. And for reasons I can't explain, I have a strong sense that going to the police right now is a bad move. But Mr. Yana isn't privy to my thoughts, and he looks up at me with a hopeful gleam in his eye. Yeah, that'll work! Tama can take me to the police, and then we can put all this behind us. All's well that ends well, right? Well... sure? Feeling like I have no choice, I leave the shop with him. Okay, Mr. Yana says excitedly as soon as we're out of earshot. Then let's go find Chidi. Huh? Aren't we going to the What? No, we're not really gonna go. Oh man, I am so glad that you showed up, Tama. Now come on, let's go find Chidi. From the big grin on his face, I have an inkling of what's coming next. You've thought of another get-rich-quick scheme, haven't you? Goodness, Tama, you can see right through me. It's not that difficult. It's practically written all over your face, boss. But Mr. Yana isn't really listening. He's too full of enthusiasm. It's time I got a line on 10 million yen. This time I got a line on 10 million yen. Come on. So, come on, let's go make ourselves stinking rich. He punctuates his grand announcement by pointing fervently at some non-existent listener, aka us. Several weeks later. Is this another bad ending? This is another bad ending, but it's a good thing. Come on, it's a good thing to happen to Chidi. To Chidi. To Maria. I mean, she's not home, but whatever. I stand with Chidi on the winner's podium. The cheers and applause are deafening when the master of ceremonies makes the announcement. Chidi's the champion. She laughs with delight as she holds up the trophy that signifies her 10 million yen win. And me? I got runner-up. I wasn't too into the idea at first, but giving it a shot, I found that professional gluttony kinda grows on you. Even I was surprised at how much I could eat. And I had to admit it felt kinda good. My memory still hasn't come back, but that doesn't matter anymore. I found myself a new purpose. To steal Chidi's spot on the throne. That right there is now my greatest goal in life. Seriously, that's some of the bad. That's a bad end. That's one of the best bad endings I've seen. Tamada never got married back. She started up a new life, which may be a horrible fate. But wouldn't it be better if she recovered her old life as Maria? Man with a cane. There's someone who could have turned up and helped her out. Yana. But he can't do that if he ends up getting tied up at the knick-knack shop. No, so that doesn't tell me anything on who to do next. Unless maybe Kano? Worth a try. Kano practically died from the car when it arrived on scene in Maruyamacho. The place was teeming with officers and onlookers alike. Out of the way, please! Move aside! Kano forced his way through the throng. Sasayama was lying in a massive pool of blood. Sasayama! Kano rushed to his partner's side. The knife was still embedded deep in Sasayama's belly. Its handle shuddered each time he drew a labored breath. Guess I messed up. Sasayama could only manage a raspy murmur. Please, don't try to talk, Kano urged. Looks like I won't be celebrating the Mrs.'s birthday. Sasayama drew a small package from his pocket. It had been neatly wrapped and fitted with a pretty little ribbon. Here, give this to Mi-chan for me. Kano shook his head. No way. You can give it to her yourself. You've never met Mi-chan, huh? She's real pretty. Probably surprised how pretty she... I know. You've told me all about her. Kano, please. Give this to my wife for me. Mustering up the last of his strength, Sasayama passed the gift into Kano's hand. Sasayama? Sasayama's hand dropped back down into the puddle of blood. A paramedic team finally arrived at the scene. As Sasayama was loaded into the ambulance, Kano felt a surge of rage roiling inside him. Interesting. Clenching his fist so hard his nails dug into his palm, he marched over to the captive Al-Karawan. You son of a bitch! He wound up for a punch to Al-Karawan's face, only to have his arm caught forcibly by the elbow. Spinning his head around, he found Stanley standing there. Let go of me, Stanley! But the American had a grip of steel, and Kano's arm wouldn't budge. They allow you to assault suspects here in Japan, do they? Kano bit his lip, then lowered his shaking fist. No, of course not, he growled. Al-Karawan let out a nasal chuckle as he watched the pair. With a cold glare, Stanley strolled over to him. He leaned in close to whisper something, and all at once the blood drained from Al-Karawan's face. Visibly shaken, Al-Karawan said something back to Stanley. Stanley gave a slight nod, then left the captive with the police escort. Kano went over to him. Hey, what was that all about? Apparently, Al-Karawan gave Hitomi some instructions. Told her to get into a blue minivan that was parked alongside Dogonzaga. So Stanley's hunch had been correct. But why had Al-Karawan confessed so quickly? How'd you get him to talk? You don't need to know that. Turning on his heel, Stanley went to report the news about the blue van to the task force. Kusei immediately directed the detectives nearest Dogonzaga to look into it, but they found no blue minivan in the area. The order then came down for all personnel to search for the vehicle. Kano thought back to another item in the Dick diary. Dictum number 14. Use the dead as a stepping stone, but be sure to die as a stepping stone yourself. In the abstract, Kano could appreciate the nobility of self-sacrifice, but when he saw Sasayama's blood-stained figure, he wasn't so easy to keep his emotions in check. First time you've ever seen a fellow officer get hurt? Stanley had come back over to him. We don't have time to relax. If you can't keep your anger in, then do something about it, here and now. Stanley pointed at his own jaw. Hit me. American style. Kano smiled wryly at the unexpected proposal. No thanks, I'll be fine. Hitting this man was going to make Kano feel any better. I'm the one who deserves to get hit. Thinking about Sasayama, I couldn't help but feel guilty. Without a word, Kano threw a punch. I mean, it's tempting! It's very tempting. Very, very tempting. But no. I'm the one who deserves to get hit. Thinking about Sasayama, Kano couldn't help but feel guilty. If I weren't such a bumbling clod, Sasayama would never have... Hey, don't blame yourself, Stanley said. You guys have been doing better than I expected. More sarcasm, huh? Stanley's mouth curled up into a sheepish and held his hands wide. Kusei's voice suddenly cut in over the wireless. We've located the blue minivan. It's in Jinman, One Chome, and Koendori. Hitomi might be there, and maybe the kidnapper's ringleader will turn up too. Well, on pure reflex, Kano broke into a run. Stanley followed close behind. They sped through the back streets, making their way toward Koendori. Kano was a pretty fast runner, but Stanley kept up with him without apparent difficulty. Were you in the army or something? No, the Marines. U.S. Marine Corps. It wasn't much further to Koendori. Kano, if we find the van, don't get too close, Stanley warned. It could be a trap. These people will do anything to carry out their goals. Anything, huh? Kano could sense the truth of Stanley's words. He reminded himself that his life could depend on remembering them. He raised his eyes. They were coming up on Koendori. Suddenly a boom as loud as a cannon fire shook the area. Something's wrong, Kano said. That's no ordinary city noise. A column of black smoke rose up from between the two nearby buildings. Passersby stopped and stared, gasping in alarm. Then Kano saw flames. This hadn't been an accident. Someone had set off an explosion. Several people were on the ground nearby, evidently injured by the detonation. Mr. Minorikawa! Mr. Minorikawa! Oh shit, Minorikawa's down! A high school-aged girl was crying, clinging tightly to a man who'd been caught in the blast. Kano recognized her as the girl he talked to earlier during the traffic jam. The man looked like he might still be alive. Kano hurried over to them. Police, he announced. Blood was streaming from the man's mouth. He'd clearly suffered some internal damage. Hit in there, buddy, Kano told him. Stay with us. The man's face twisted up in pain, but somehow he managed to croak out a few words. Kano let out a gasp. The man's voice was almost too weak to hear, but what he said still shook Kano to the core. The man knew something important. Something crucial to the investigation. Rescue vehicles arrived on the scene, and the wounded man was promptly loaded into the stretcher. When he was placed inside the ambulance, Kano flashed his badge at the paramedics and got in alongside him. The man had already fallen unconscious. This is another bad ending, isn't it? Kano didn't know when he'd wake back up, but he knew he needed to hear what the guy had to say. He sensed that the stranger was the key to unlocking the entire case. But though Kano kept a lonely vigil, the man never woke up again. The antiviral that had been given to Hitomi. The blue minivan Al Karawan told Hitomi to look for. And now the minivan exploding? Kano was sure this man had known all these tied together. But now the key to solving the case was gone for good. Yep, bad end. We gotta do Minorikawa. At 5:30, someone shouts something. Depending on what they shout, both Kano and Minorikawa's fate may change. Oh, so we have to do someone else to get Minorikawa's fate to change. Okay. So, do we do Osa or Achi? No, it wouldn't be Osawa. Probably Achi. Kanan led them into a narrow black alley. Member of SOS don't come by here very much. Word has it that this place around 10 years ago, one man beat the crap out of 7 street toughs in the blink of an eye, all by himself. Over time, people offered various theories. That he was an assassin, that he was a foreign soldier, that he might have been a ghost, and to this day, the urban legend lives on. The moment she stopped, Hitomi spoke up. Why was my sister kidnapped? Before I answer that, something I need to tell you, Kanan said. Her tone was cold and sharp. I've come to Japan because I'm on a mission. I'm not at liberty to discuss all the details. Alright? Hitomi gave a slight nod. To answer your question, Maria was kidnapped by mistake. What? Hitomi gasped. But why? Because this kidnapper isn't after Maria. They're after you. Who's after me? The mastermind behind this whole thing, Kanan said. Her tone was matter-of-fact. Whoa, hold on, Achi interrupted. What do they want Hitomi for? That I cannot say. Well then who is this person? Can't tell you that either. You see, their sex, nationality, age, appearance, just about everything about them is shrouded in mystery. So there's not much I can tell you. Achi and Hitomi stood dumbfounded. What gives? Achi said. So you're saying all you know is that this person has some lame name like Mastermind? Hitomi turned to whisper in his ear. Mastermind isn't actually their name. Originally used solely to refer to someone of remarkable intellect, the term first took on its criminal connotation in the 19th century. I'm here, Kanan spots, because I'm looking for revenge. Revenge? Hitomi asked. What for? This person also killed my friend. Kanan's inscrutable eyes flashed with a threatening gleam. Earlier, you said that it was your fault my sister got kidnapped, Hitomi said. Kanan cast her eyes down. 4 days ago, I managed to learn this criminal's plan. So I got in touch with Maria and told her that you were going to be attacked at that party. So that's why she told me not to go. Hitomi's voice trembled as she spoke. I gave Maria a small GPS tracker to give you, but I guess you never got it. We all know what a GPS is by now. Hitomi shook her head. I see. She must still have it then. Wait. So then my sister... The color drained from Hitomi's face as she understood. Yes, Kanan replied. Maria acted as a decoy and let herself get kidnapped in your stead. Hitomi swayed on her feet, shocked to the verge of fainting. Achi hurriedly reached out and caught her in his arms. But wait, he said to Kanan as he held Hitomi up. I don't get that either. Why didn't neither of them go? Then nobody would have been kidnapped, right? I mean, why'd your sister need to go and act as a decoy? Kanan let out a tiny sigh. If she hadn't gone to the party, the kidnappers would have just found some other opportunity to come after her. Ah, okay. Achi nodded. That sort of makes sense. I'm betting that Maria's plan was to use the GPS to lead me to these guys' hideout. She wanted to keep her sister safe, and also figured she could help me with my mission. It's the sort of scheme she'd think of. So then, can't you use the GPS to locate Hitomi's sister? Achi asked. Kanan shook her head. The GPS hasn't been powered on since she was kidnapped. It's possible the kidnappers took it from her. Wait, what? So after all that, even you can't find Maria. Achi slumped to his shoulders in disappointment. I didn't say that. What do you mean? I got some intel from those syndicate members we met earlier. Apparently, sometime this morning they put Maria into a blue minivan and says they've been moving her all around Shibuya. Achi and Hitomi exchanged glances at the mention of the blue minivan. Unfortunately, Kanan continued, those operatives didn't know what the current situation was exactly. So we're back to the blue van then. Achi hurriedly explained what they'd been through so far. He mentioned how they'd first seen the blue van where the kidnappers had told Hitomi to find it. He also described how first a man with the cane and then a host of others had come after them. He got a little sidetracked here and there, but Kanan quietly listened to the end. I see. So then, what do you think? Achi asked. Seems like we messed up their little scheme a little, huh? Whatever the case, this man with the cane concerns me, Kanan said. I doubt he's working with the others. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's it! Some guy who isn't involved butts in and it throws off their whole plan. Kanan nodded in agreement. Because you and that man with the cane showed up. She said, they couldn't leave the minivan where it was. They took a sensible precaution. But then, if you think about it, isn't this an opportunity for us to turn the tables on Mr. Mastermind? Kanan flashed him a faint speculative smile. I wonder about that. Aw, come on, Achi grumbled. You're such a buzzkill. Any well-made plan has a good solid outline, which means that, even after it's come to fruition, it's easy to trace things back to the planner. Huh, is that how it works? By contrast, if you achieve your goals using accidental means, the outline becomes blurred, and it makes it harder for anyone outside, looking in, to grasp what the actual plan is. Achi swallowed hard as he took in the gravity of the situation. Well, but I mean, like, if there's an accident, people are gonna for sure panic, plan or not. The corners of Kanan's lips curled up. Typically, I suppose, she said. But the people who are after Hitomi, not only have they put together a perfect plan, they've purposely left certain tiny holes in it. And so we can't even figure out who they are. The outline of their plan is always too blurry. Ashi had no response to that. It was like he was hearing something about some completely different world beyond the one he knew. What if what Kanan had said was true? He'd been dealing with opponents that were on a level way above his own. You probably have been this whole time, dude. In any event, since these people are after you, it'd be best if you didn't wander around town anymore, Kanan told him. By now, Hitomi had recovered. She stood up straight and shook her head. No, I'm going to find that blue minivan. My sister is in danger because of me. I can't abandon her just to save myself. Yeah, that's right. Achi patted Hitomi on the back. And if that's what you're going to do, then I don't care who we're up against. I'm with you in this until the end. Heck, it's too late for me to back out now. That ship has already failed. Hitomi giggled despite herself. It's already sailed, Achi. Yeah! Kanan let out another little sigh. Alright, just make sure you're extra careful, she said. You can't count on getting bailed out of trouble like you have before. I understand, Hitomi said. Her eyes showed no trace of doubt or fear. Kanan gave her a slight nod, then quickly disappeared down the alleyway. Right then, Achi said. Want to get back to looking for that minivan? Then he stopped, remembering their previous efforts. If they just heedlessly wandered around town, they'd probably end up in the same trouble they'd encountered before. They'd get chased by the man with the cane or by the kidnappers, and their search would be interrupted yet again. What should they do then? There had to be a better way. Achi happened to glance upward and caught sight of a surveillance camera installed on one of the streetlights. That's it! God, I can't believe I didn't think of it before. Hitomi peered at him, startled by his sudden shouting. We just need to use my old man's surveillance cameras, and this will be a breeze. Okay.
Hachi took Hitomi by the hand and started running. This stretch.
This is where I'm gonna end the episode. We'll continue this in the next episode and hopefully keep some bad ends from happening. So then, this is the Gamer Girl, signing off.